All right, let's jump right in, shall we? We're diving deep into George R. Martin's A Song of Ice and Fire today.
Betrayal, ambition, the whole 9 yards. It's a world where doing the right thing can get you killed.
And we're going beyond the surface here. We've got excerpts that really dig into what the characters are thinking and feeling.
Their motivations, their darkest secrets, it's all laid bare.
So whether you've read the books a dozen times or you're just starting out, get ready for some serious insights.
We can't talk about ASOIF without addressing the elephant in the room.
Oh, you mean the Red Wedding?
That's the one. Talk about a betrayal that left readers reeling.
For sure. It's like, picture yourself at this wedding feast, music's playing, everyone's celebrating.
You've got Caitlin Stark, Rob's mother. She's there, and she's starting to notice things that just don't sit right.
Like, hold on, why is Walder Frey being so nice?
Exactly. He's practically falling over himself to make sure everyone's comfortable.
And remember, the Freys, they're a prickly bunch.
They hold grudges like nobody's business.
Rob broke his promise to marry one of Walder's daughters, so there's already bad blood there.
And Caitlin, she picks up on this tension.
She's like, Rob, something's not right here. I have a bad feeling.
But Rob, he's young, he's desperate for allies. He needs the Frey's support in this war.
He brushes off her concerns.
And that, my friend, is where the tragedy lies. Even Caitlin, sharp as she is, can't fathom the depths of Walder Frey's thirst for revenge.
Oh, man. It's like watching a train wreck in slow motion. You know something terrible is about to happen, but you can't look away.
The music's playing, the guests are eating, drinking, making merry, but the tension is building.
It's palpable.
And then, boom, the music stops, doors slam shut.
It's a bloodbath.
Martin doesn't hold back. He describes the chaos, the screams, the sheer terror as the guests are slaughtered.
We even see it from Arya's perspective.
Rob's younger sister, she arrives at the twins, hoping to reunite with her family.
But she walks right into a nightmare.
The aftermath of a massacre.
It's a scene that sticks with you long after you finish reading.
It's more than just violence, though. The Red Wedding is a stark reminder of how ambition, revenge, these primal forces can twist human nature into something monstrous.
It shatters any illusion of safety, of trust. It shows you just how brutal this world can be.
Exactly. It's a wake-up call, a taste of the darkness that lurks beneath the surface of Westeros.
And speaking of darkness, let's talk about a character who navigates that darkness with surprising skill, Tyrion Lannister.
Ah, the imp. Constantly underestimated, always facing prejudice because of his dwarfism.
But man, is he clever.
Sharp as a tack.
He uses his wit and intellect to survive in a world where he's constantly being targeted.
The excerpts we have really highlight this, his cynical humor, his ability to turn a weakness into a strength.
But there's also a vulnerability to him, you know?
Oh, absolutely. Underneath that sardonic exterior, there's a man grappling with his own demons.
Like, take his forced marriage to Sansa Stark.
A political move orchestrated by his sister Cersei to cement their family's power.
Tyrion, he hates being used as a pawn.
But he also recognizes Sansa's innocence, her vulnerability.
It's a no-win situation.
Even his attempts to be kind to her could be misconstrued.
And this tension, this conflict between what he's expected to do and what he actually wants to do, it's a recurring theme in his story.
We see it again in his interactions with Elia, a young woman forced into prostitution.
He treats her with a gentleness that's rare in Westeros.
But even that act of compassion is tinged with guilt, an awareness of his own complicity in a system that exploits the vulnerable.
He's constantly trying to hold on to some shred of decency in a world that often rewards cruelty.
And let's not forget the humiliation he suffers at the hands of King Joffrey.
Oh, Joffrey, the poster child for spoiled, sadistic rulers.
He delights in tormenting Tyrion for his appearance.
Like forcing him to fight as a champion in a mock trial. It's just cruel.
It's a reminder of how those in power can abuse that power to inflict pain on others.
But Tyrion endures.
He survives.
It's like Martin showing us that true strength isn't about physical prowess.
It's about resilience, about outsmarting those who seek to bring you down.
Now let's shift gears and talk about another character who faces some tough choices. Jon Snow.
Duty versus desire, that's Jon's story in a nutshell.
He's a member of the Night's Watch, sworn to defend the realm from threats beyond the wall.
A life of sacrifice, of hardship.
They renounce all worldly possessions, including family and romantic relationships.
And Jon, at least initially, he embraces this life.
But then he meets Ygritte.
A wildling woman who turns his world upside down.
Their love story unfolds in this harsh, unforgiving landscape.
It's forbidden, it's dangerous, but it's undeniably passionate.
The excerpts we have capture this intensity. Their shared experience is the bond that forms between them.
But it comes at a cost.
John is torn between his vows to the Night's Watch, his duty to his brothers, and his feelings for Ygritte.
Can he reconcile his love for her with his obligation to protect the realm?
He grapples with this question as he journeys with the wildlings, trying to warn the Night's Watch about the impending attack.
He sustains an injury during that journey.
Symbolic of the toll this internal struggle is taking on him.
He's literally and figuratively scarred by the choices he's forced to make.
And it raises a question for us, the readers. Can we ever truly escape the consequences of our choices, especially in a world as unforgiving as Westeros?
You know, it's interesting how John's story kind of parallels Tyrion's in a way.
Oh, how so?
They're both caught between what they want and what's expected of them.
Right, they're both playing these roles that society has kind of forced on them.
Exactly. It's like Martin is exploring this idea that even in a world full of war and politics, personal choices still matter.
Absolutely. And it's not just Jon and Tyrion who are dealing with this, right? Let's talk about Daenerys Targaryen.
Oh, Daenerys, the exiled princess who becomes this, like, unstoppable
Her
force.
journey is fascinating. She goes from being a pawn sold by her brother to a warlord.
Right, and then she completely flips the script.
She embraces her role as Khaleesi, leader of the Dothraki.
And slowly but surely, she transforms into a powerful leader in her own right.
The excerpts we have really focus on her strategic thinking, her determination to reclaim her birthright, the Iron Throne.
Like, remember when she acquires the Unsullied?
Oh yeah, that was brilliant.
The whole army of elite warriors.
And she gets them through some seriously clever negotiation.
Shows you her cunning, her willingness to challenge the norms.
But it's not all smooth sailing, right?
Yeah.
There are moral complexities to her rise to power.
Oh, for sure. Like her advisor, Sir Jorah Mormont, he's constantly reminding her of that.
He's like the voice of caution.
Exactly. He's always telling her that conquering Westeros will require tough decisions.
Decisions that might force her to compromise her ideals.
There's this one scene where she's figuring out how to take the city of Yunkai.
Oh, I remember that.
And Sir Jorah warns her, he says, the common people pray for rain, healthy children, and a summer that never ends.
It is no mercy to deliver them what they believe they desire at a cost they are unwilling to pay.
Heavy stuff, right.
Yeah, it's a reminder that leadership, especially in war, means making difficult choices. Choices that can have unintended consequences.
Absolutely. So Daenerys' story, it makes us think about the burden of leadership, the compromises you have to make to achieve your goals.
And whether it's even possible to hold on to your humanity while striving for power.
Exactly. Which brings us to this larger theme that runs through Martin's work.
The big picture stuff.
Yeah, like how do these universal values like honor, love, revenge, how do they play out in a world that's just consumed by chaos?
Okay, so let's break it down. Let's start with honor.
All right, so we've got two characters that really embody this struggle.
Brienne of Tarth and Jaime Lannister, right?
You got it. Brienne, she's the epitome of chivalry and loyalty.
And Jaime, well, he's the Kingslayer. His reputation is, shall we say, a bit tarnished.
But the excerpts, they paint a more nuanced picture.
They do, don't they?
Brienne, she's this amazing character, strong, skilled in combat, completely devoted to her oaths.
But she's also constantly underestimated, mocked for her appearance, for wanting to be a warrior.
It's like people can't handle a woman who doesn't fit their narrow expectations.
And then there's Jaime.
Right. At first glance, he seems arrogant, dishonorable.
He betrayed his king. He's got this, well, complicated relationship with his sister.
But as we dig deeper, we start to see glimpses of a more complex character.
Like when he saves Brienne from being attacked.
Oh yeah, that scene is powerful. He risks his own safety to protect her.
It makes you question whether he's really as bad as everyone thinks he is.
Right, and then later on, when they're traveling together, he opens up to Brienne about why he killed the king.
He explains that he did it to save the city from a wildfire plot.
A choice that basically condemned him in everyone's eyes.
But he believed it was necessary to prevent a greater tragedy.
It's a reminder that actions can be driven by complicated motives.
And that even seemingly dishonorable choices can sometimes be the right ones.
It makes you think about what honor really means, you know?
Is it about blindly following the rules?
Or is it about making the tough calls, even if it means breaking the rules?
Tough questions.
Yeah.
And what about love? How does that factor into all this?
Well, Jon and Ygritte, they're the prime example of how love can be both a source of strength and a vulnerability in Westeros.
Their love story is so compelling because it breaks all the boundaries.
He's a sworn brother of the Night's Watch. She's a wildling. they should be enemies.
But they fall for each other anyway.
And their connection is so intense, so real.
But it's constantly threatened by the war between their people.
Right, like in the end, their love becomes a casualty of that conflict.
It's a reminder that even the strongest bonds can be shattered by violence and division,
But Martin also suggests that love can leave a lasting impact.
even if it ends tragically.
It shapes who we are, it inspires us, even after it's gone.
And then there's revenge. That's a big one in Westeros.
Oh, yeah, and Arya Stark's journey really embodies that.
After witnessing the Red Wedding, she's consumed by the need for revenge.
Right, she goes from this sheltered, noble girl to this, like, hardened warrior.
Determined to make those who wronged her family pay.
She even makes a kill list.
It's dark, but you can understand why she feels that way.
Totally. And she seeks out training, learns how to fight, how to survive.
But that quest for vengeance, it takes her down a dark path.
It makes her question how far she's willing to go.
Like, can she achieve justice without becoming the very thing she hates?
It's a tough question. Like, there's this one scene where she's traveling with the Hound.
He's this brutal warrior, but he also becomes her protector.
Right, and he teaches her how to survive in this world.
But he also exposes her to its brutality.
It's like a crash course in the harsh realities of Westeros.
And it leaves her changed, hardened, but also conflicted.
So Arya's story, it raises this crucial question. Can revenge ever really bring closure?
Or does it just lead to more violence, more pain?
It's a question that echoes throughout Martin's work.
A reminder that choices have consequences, and those consequences can be far-reaching.
They can impact not just individuals, but entire kingdoms.
So what stands out to you most from all these characters and their stories?
You know, what always gets me is how Martin humanizes them. Even the ones who do terrible things.
He gives them depth. Right?
Exactly. He shows us their motivations, their struggles.
It's like he's saying, hey, don't judge too quickly. There's always more to the story.
Yeah.
It makes you think about those characters in a whole new light. What about you? What question are you left pondering after going through all these excerpts with me? What really sticks with you?
It's that whole thing about unintended consequences, you know? Like in Martin's world, even little choices can have a huge ripple effect.
Right. It's like one thing leads to another, and then suddenly, boom.
Exactly. Think about Robb Stark breaking that marriage pact with the phrase.
Oh, yeah, that seemed like a small thing at the time.
Right. Like he was in love, he wanted to follow his heart, but it set off this chain reaction.
The Red Wedding, the destruction of his house, it all stemmed from that one decision.
It's crazy how those seemingly insignificant choices can have such massive consequences.
Totally. And it's not just Robb. Think about Jon Snow.
Oh yeah, Jon's torn between his duty to the Night's Watch and his love for Ygritte.
And trying to balance those loyalties, it has a huge impact on him.
And on the whole conflict in the North, it's like every decision these characters make, it's a gamble.
Right, because you never know what the outcome is going to be. It's that unpredictability that makes Martin's world so gripping.
Totally. And Daenerys, she's a great example of this too.
Oh yeah, she's so focused on reclaiming the Iron Throne.
But her ambition, it has a cost. She makes choices that free some people but end up hurting others.
It shows that even with good intentions, things can go sideways.
Exactly. You can't always control the outcome, no matter how hard you try.
It's a good reminder for all of us, really. Our choices matter, but we can't always predict the consequences.
That's the beauty of Martin's writing, though. It's not black and white, good versus evil. It's complicated, it's messy, just like real life.
It's characters making tough calls in a world where the line between right and wrong is always shifting. So what about you, listener? What are your thoughts on all of this?
Did these excerpts make you see these characters or this world any differently?
We'd love to hear your takeaways. Head over to our social media channels and let's keep this conversation going.
Because in the world of A Song of Ice and Fire, there's always something new to discover.
Always another layer to peel back. Until next time, keep exploring. And remember, winter is coming.